Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamini Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gaurvani Vacharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Vashyadi Dikshitarini. So, this
हरे कृष्णा। तो हम बहुत सौभाग्यशाली हैं कि हमारे बीच में है इसलिए सुदामा कृष्ण प्रभु जी। प्रभु जी से हम लोग 1.5-2 साल से रिक्वेस्ट कर रहे थे कि प्रभु जी आए अपने एसोसिएशन देने के लिए, बट प्रभु जी physically available नहीं हो पा रहे थे because of this occupied and hectic schedule. But today Prabhu ji has kindly taken out some time to bestow his blessings upon all of us. So I will give a very brief introduction about Prabhu ji. Prabhu ji इस कौन से 2016 में connected है, 2016 से connected है, so which is 10 years now. प्रभु जी को एक माता जी मिली थी जिन्होंने प्रभु जी को बोला था कि तो 16 वाला करते हैं. So from day one प्रभु जी ने बस सुना है कि started chanting 16 rounds all at once. उसके बाद प्रभु जी चैंटिंग कर रहे थे, लेकिन ही वाज नॉट इंट्रोड्यूस्ड टू द टेंपल. तो प्रभु जी घर से लेकर टेंपल करते थे. फिर प्रभु जी ने प्रभुपाद जी के बारे में ऑनलाइन पढ़ा, प्रभुपाद जी के डिसाइपल्स के बारे में ऑनलाइन पढ़ा, एंड प्रभु जी स्टार्टेड हियरिंग हिज होलिनेस गोपाल कृष्ण गोस्वामी महाराज. And from 10 years, not even a single day that Prabhuji has missed hearing Srila Prabhupada lecture and Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj lecture. Not even a single day. उसके बाद Prabhuji finally came to Dwarka in 2018, and since then, for 4 to 5 years, Prabhuji daily chanted 64 rounds. And still, most of the times, Prabhuji tries to chant 64 rounds. And this was along with his BCA, MCA, 2 hours of reading of the Prabhupada book and doing his academic studies of Prabhuji college में भी scores काफी अच्छे हैं. 64 rounds. और from आपको पता होगा हमारे जितना भी द्वारका में जो भी टीटी वर्शिप का स्टैंडर्ड है वो प्रभु जी जानते हैं. इवन हमारे मंदिर के जो भी काफी सालों से जो पुजारी हैं, they also rely on प्रभु जी for अभिषेक. अभिषेक में भी बहुत सारी टेक्निकलिटीज होती हैं, सब कुछ बहुत सारे रिचुअल्स होते हैं. इवन द पुजारी they seek प्रभु जी हेल्प एंड गाइडेंस कि वो कैसे अभिषेक करना चाहिए. जो मायापुर डीटी कोर्स कराते हैं, जो डीटी प्लांट कृष्णा कराते हैं, प्रभु जी को सारे मंत्र आते हैं. समाधि देने से लेकर संन्यास तक के सारे मंत्र प्रभु जी को पता है, सारे संस्कार पता है, पूरी शक्ति है, सारे दिन का प्रभु जी ने पढ़ी हुई है. आप उम्मीद नहीं कर सकते कितने आचार्यों की बुक्स प्रभु जी ने पढ़ी है. और प्रभु जी का सबसे इस्कॉन द्वारका में सबसे ज्यादा प्रभु जी को माना जाता है उनकी डिवोटी केयर, डिवोटी रिलेशनशिप के ऊपर. जैसे वेचन गुरु जी ने बताया था कि बोला था ऐसा कि 7 नवंबर को प्रभु जी का आविर्भाव दिवस होता है. उस दिन हम इस्कॉन द्वारका में डिवोटी केयर डे अनाउंस करें. प्रभु जी ने अनाउंस किया उसको प्रभु जी का क्योंकि बर्थडे होता है तो द्वारका में डिवोटी केयर डे 7 नवंबर को करेंगे. और प्रभु जी की बहुत ग्लोरीज है, बट आज हम बहुत सौभाग्यशाली हैं कि प्रभु जी हमारे बीच उपस्थित हैं. तो प्रभु जी का हृदय से धन्यवाद देंगे. प्रभु जी को हम हर महीने आमंत्रण करना चाहेंगे, और अगर आप लोग एंथुसियास्टिक रहेंगे और प्रभु जी को रिक्वेस्ट करेंगे, प्रभु जी हर महीने by loudly chanting Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Sudama Krishna Prabhu ji ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Yes, Funcionário Prabhu ji की जय. Prabhu ji is very kind upon me. आहे तो भी कृपा प्रभु जी का मेरे ऊपर. So the thing is कि this topic is not something कि जो आप 1 घंटे या 2 घंटे में कवर कर लोगे. So you know मतलब I will try to see how much we will cover in 30 minutes. एंड उसके बाद हम देखते हैं अगर फ्यूचर में कंटिन्यू करना होगा तो देन वी विल सी, बिकॉज दिस इज समथिंग जो आप एक बार में कवर नहीं कर सकते. दिस इज बहुत सारी चीज़ें इसमें, बहुत सारे डायनामिक्स हैं इसमें. सो इट इज़ बेस्ड अपॉन मल्टीपल बुक्स बाय मल्टीपल Srila Prabhupada disciples. It is also based on Srila Prabhupada books, Bhagavatam, CC, NOD, NOI, Ishopanishad lectures, morning walks, conversations. So we will see how the things they go on. So I will start with a quote of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. If the devotee does not take care of his physical and emotional reality, he or she will become attracted to sinful life and atheistic worldviews. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur states this in Chaitanya Sikshamrit. See, it's a very important part. अच्छा, कुछ नहीं. So you see, in past 10 years, I have seen why devotees they leave, and most of the reasons is one of these things कि that they were not care. मतलब nobody leaves ISKCON की philosophy वहाँ पे कम है थोड़ी. ऐसा मैंने आज तक बहुत रेयरली किसी को छोड़ते हुए देखा है कि जिनका एकदम मतलब जिनकी philosophy अंडरस्टैंडिंग थोड़ी गड़बड़ थी वो यूजुअली छोड़ते हैं. बट philosophy wise ISKCON is topmost, है ना. Deity worship standards we are topmost, and everything we are topmost, but not in management somehow. These are the words of Guru Maharaj also. Once I asked him a question when not me, maybe me or Abhimanyu Prabhu asked him a question. Maharaj said that our philosophy is topmost, but our management is not topmost. So there can be always flaws. So the thing is कि mostly the devotees who live Krishna consciousness or who feel कि उनकी Krishna consciousness काफी stagnant हो चुकी है. This is a reason because they do not take care of their physical and emotional reality. And what do you mean by physical and emotional reality? In what sense? What emotional reality? The thing is कि one is supposed to be genuine to oneself. One should know कि उसकी physical needs क्या है. One should know कि उसकी emotional needs क्या है. There is something called needs and there is something called कि आप मतलब emotion के आप पूरे एक sentimentalist बन के घूम रहे हो. Not that, but emotional need क्या है basically. तो उसके साथ हमें खुद को honest रहना चाहिए. We will cover this more. So this quote is by, is it visible? Yeah, left side quote. It is by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. All beings are controlled by love. To love is the sole purpose of human life. Many think that the fulfillment for their selfish desires is the primary purpose of their existence, but that is wrong. For love, man can sacrifice all of his own interests. और हमने इसको एक्सपीरियंस किया अपनी लाइफ में किसी न किसी लेवल पे. मे बी हमारे पेरेंट्स, मे बी हमारे बड़े भाई, छोटे भाई, है ना. मे बी द डिवोटीज जो हमें टेक केयर करते हैं, our facilitators, mentors, counselors. Selfishness causes man to strive only for his own happiness and autonomy, but love causes him to sacrifice all of his own interests for the sake of that thing or person that is dear to him. Whenever there is a clash between selfishness and love, love is victorious. In particular, when selfishness is very intense, it still remains subordinate to love. What is selfishness? Selfishness is to endeavor for that thing which is very dear to oneself. Therefore, it is not unreasonable to say that human life is directed by love. Love becomes the primary purpose of man's life, even when he strives to fulfill his selfish desires. So, Srila Prabhupada used to say this thing, that everybody wants to serve someone. Huh? If he has no one, then he will serve his own senses, a dog, a cat. Huh? So, that's why Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. This is why his one is Giriraj Swami Maharaj. Srila Prabhupada says, man is a social animal. So, if he does not have relationships with devotees, he will look for relationships elsewhere. So, it is very important for us that if we really want to stay in Krishna consciousness and progress in Krishna consciousness, to have loving relationship with devotees. So that is the reason कि कई बार I have seen devotees कि काफी मतलब you will find these devotees in moment कि वो आपको लगेंगे काफी एकदम काफी रूट से लगेंगे आपको, ये काफी स्टैग्नेंट से लगेंगे आपको इतने टाइम के बाद भी. आपको लगेगा तो 50 ये तो 30 साल से है, 20 साल से इतने स्टैग्नेंट कैसे हो सकते हैं, 10 साल से इतने स्टैग्नेंट कैसे हो रहे हैं. That is the reason because we don't have relationship with devotees. अगर मतलब दिस इज अ बेसिक थिंग. फॉर एग्जांपल आप कॉलेज प्रीचिंग ही करते हो तो यू वांट कि कॉलेज प्रीचिंग में जो डिवोटी को आप लेके आ रहे हो वो ग्रेजुअली अपने बुरे एसोसिएशन को छोड़े, है ना. बाहर का एसोसिएशन इट काइंड्स ऑफ कंटामिनेट योर कॉन्शियसनेस, है ना. वो वल्गर बातें करेंगे, दे मे क्रैक नॉन विद जोक्स, दे मे डू ऑल सॉर्ट ऑफ नॉनसेंस एंड यू वांट कि डिवोटीज से बच के रहें, है ना. बट हाउ दे विल डू इट? they will do it if they will give their heart here in devotee association. We can't just say कि अब भक्तों को कॉलेज वाले कोई नया डिवोटी है कि अपना हृदय यहाँ पे दो, बाहर के संग त्याग करना चाहिए. We can tell them philosophically, but अगर उसे बाहर का संग से छुड़वाना तो उसे हायर एसोसिएशन देना पड़ेगा. उसे आपको उस लेवल का लव केयर देना पड़ेगा कि वो उस एसोसिएशन उसको वहाँ पे वो एकदम उसे नीरस लगे, उसे यहाँ पे भक्तों के बीच में रस आए. So that is the responsibility of preachers or those who are engaged in preaching services, that they give such kind of love to the devotees under them. So this is something by Srila Prabhupada. This is from the special devotee care issue. Okay. When we are further advanced, we do not see only Krishna, but we see his devotees also. We can recognize here is a pure devotee of Krishna. But in the lower stage, the devotee is concerned with the deity worship, but he does not take much care of the devotees. But when one is advanced further, he can see Krishna and his devotees also. Ishvara Tadadhina, this is from NOD. Tadadhina means devotees. Devotees are always under the service of Krishna. So anyone who is giving service to Krishna, we should take care of them also. Anyone who is giving service to Krishna, we should take care of them also. For example, a devotee is ill in your base, है ना? प्रभु आपका मंगल आरती का आपको सेवा था रेडी करना, आप बीमार पड़े हुए हो. You are not this body, प्रभु क्या फर्क पड़ता है, जल्दी रेडी करो यार. माया किसी के साथ हुआ तो नहीं ना. इन वंशिप उस लीडरशिप कभी ऐसा नहीं होने वाला. So anyone who is giving service to Krishna, we should take care of them also. Devotees से हमारा रिलेशनशिप बस सर्विस बेस्ड नहीं होना चाहिए. मतलब लेट मी एक्सप्लेन. कई बार भक्तों कह रहे थे हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी प्रणाम, प्रभु जी आप कैसे हैं, प्रभु जी एक सेवा थी, प्रभु जी आप आ जाएंगे, धन्यवाद प्रणाम प्रभु जी, हरे कृष्णा, थैंक यू सो मच. उसके लाइफ में वो जिंदा है मर गया आपको नहीं पता, उसकी स्पिरिचुअल लाइफ क्या चल रहा है आपको नहीं पता. द ओनली रिलेशनशिप इज बाय सर्विस. मतलब एक टाइम पे रिलेशनशिप ठीक है, सर्विस रिलेशनशिप को बनाने में हेल्प करती है, बट at condition stage, like Srila Prabhupada disciples, they are related with each other out of services also, है ना. And because of those services, उनके बीच में ना loving relationship है, but at condition stage, अगर आप जिस services को ही आप priority दोगे और आप उस भक्त की personal life में क्या चल रहा है, उस भक्त का भक्त की स्थिति कैसे, उसका ध्यान नहीं दोगे, then it will be very difficult, you know. It will be very difficult for that devotee to sustain and for you to also sustain. ये हमने देखा है, मतलब devotees. There was this case a couple of years back. One devotee was calling for some services and he called a particular devotee. और उस भक्त से उसने मे बी 1-2 साल से बात नहीं करी थी. तो he called, हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, धन्य प्रणाम प्रभु जी, एक सेवा है प्रभु जी, आप सेवा कर देंगे. So that devotee said, प्रभु जी 2 साल पहले अभी आपने 2 साल से मुझे फोन नहीं किया, अभी 1 महीने पहले मेरी माता जी ने शरीर छोड़ा, आपको पता है बात. And now you just want me to come for services. You never inquired me. मैं अपना expenses पे टेम्पर आया करता था, अपना efforts लगा के टेम्पर आया करता था, but you never reciprocated. आपको पता नहीं लाइफ में क्या चल रहा है क्या नहीं चल रहा, मतलब. So the thing was that devotee, he went out on that other devotee who called him, and then he blocked him. So that is the thing that happens. That is called insensitivity. That we don't know कि किसके लाइफ में क्या चल रहा है क्या नहीं चल रहा. मतलब डोंट बी लाइक माता जी वाला कि वो गॉसिप वाली आंटी किसके लाइफ में अच्छा ये चल रहा है, बट एक कंसर्न वाला कि नहीं इसके लाइफ में क्या चल रहा है, मतलब दैट काइंड ऑफ थिंग, है ना. आई होप आई एम मेकिंग माय सेल्फ क्लियर. डोंट बी अ गॉसिप वाली माता जी, बट you will find in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu that it is stated somewhere that if a devotee is coming, then another devotee who is engaged in worship of the deity may stop deity worship for the time being and should go immediately to receive the devotee. So Krishna also says, Mad Bhakta Pujyatika. Krishna is satisfied more when a devotee worships his devotee. Krishna says, If one is worshipping me and one is worshipping my devotee, then the person who is worshipping the devotee is more important than the person who is worshipping Krishna. So a person who is worshipping the devotee is more important than the person who is worshipping Krishna. So worshipping devotees does not mean कि हम अगले आए फिर व्यास पूजा चल रहे हैं एक भक्ति संसार दावन से. Worshipping devotees means caring for the devotees. Like worshipping deities means caring for the deities, है ना? You know, deity worship को neophytes के लिए क्यों बोला जाता है usually? गोस्वामी भी करते थे. Deity worship is to teach you sensitivity. If you when you take second initiation, when you are serving in the altar, you worship everything. You worship the bell that you ring. वो ऐसे नहीं रखी जाती. उसके लिए कासन उसके नीचे रखना होता है. उसके नीचे you make a त्रिकोण मंडल. You worship that bell. You worship the stand of the shankha. You worship the shankha. You worship the potter in the shankha. You worship the water pots. You worship every paraphernalia of Krishna. भगवान की भी उपांग पूजा होती है. You worship the you worship Kaustubha Mani. You worship भगवान श्रीवत्स चिन्ह. You worship Bhagwan's flute, Bhagwan's dresses also, even you worship. You offer them some sandalwood and paste, some sandalwood paste and a little bit of flowers. So we are worshipping Krishna's paraphernalia, but the best paraphernalia of Krishna is his devotees. So we should worship them, है ना? Not necessarily जाके आप उनके सबके माथे पे एते गंधा पुष्प करके वो फूल चिपकाते रहोगे, ना ऐसे नहीं. But yeah, we should take care. We should take care of devotees. They are the best paraphernalia of Krishna. Now this was something nice. कोई पढ़ना चाहेगा?
Sometimes sport members think about sport as an institution or as the leaders of the campus or the GBC or someone else older than us. We expect sport to care for devotees and we may be hard or disappointed when care is not given as well as we could expect or as we would like. Sport is a society made up of members. Each of us is sport.
दोबारा रिपीट करना इस लाइन को.
Sport is a society made up of members. Each of us is sport. And each one of us feels that we have the responsibility to take care for one another. Then sport will be a caring organization with a family atmosphere based on love and trust, as Srila Prabhupada wrote it. However, we wait for such a society to come only from leadership or from some vague idea of institution. It will be very hard to achieve the real devotee care we desire. So let us look in the mirror, perceive that I am sport and I care, and decide today how each of us can exemplify devotee care in our own lives.
Okay. So ISKCON is a society made up of members, है ना? Each of us is ISKCON. When each one of us feels that we have the responsibility to care for one another, then ISKCON will be a caring organization. When each one of us feels, okay, genuinely feels that we have the responsibility to take care of one another, then ISKCON can be a caring organization. If, however, we wait for such society to come only from leadership or from some vague idea of institution, it will be very hard to achieve the real devotee care we desire. The thing is, you don't wait for devotee care. Sometimes devotees, they say that I did not receive love, I did not receive care, they were so important. So those who are mature, if they feel like that, then what is the responsibility? That they start giving it to others. If they know that this thing is important, and if someone is not having this thing, then you don't wait कि leadership में कब होगा तब जाके कुछ होगा. You don't wait for all those things. You just start those things on your own level. You just literally start giving care to devotees. That is very, very important. So then there will be a small thing by Kavi Chandra Maharaj. Somebody would like to read?
Actually, everyone is a leader. 5 years ago, the GBC formed a committee to work on various perceived needs of the society. When the preaching committee met, we realized the most important aspect of preaching is to have happy devotees. Out of that, the devotee care committee was formed. It has become a very strong and active group. I am fortunate to be part of it.
This is by His Holiness Kavi Chandra Swami Maharaj. Okay.
My devotees are remembering Srila Prabhupada. Our main thing is the personal attention and love. His Holiness Mukund Goswami recalls how when he was in trouble and abandoned by all his so-called friends, Srila Prabhupada found him, showing concern and inviting him to visit. From that time, he became fully serious about surrendering to Srila Prabhupada. The results are well known. Lord Chaitanya said, "Prabhu gahe Vaishnava seva, naam sankirtan Lohi kar sikra, Pavle Shri Krishna charan." Translation: The Lord replied, "You should engage yourself in the service of the servants of Krishna and always chant the holy name of Krishna. If you do these two things, you will very soon attain shelter and Krishna's lotus feet." Service to devotees comes first. In my opinion, Srila Prabhupada's caring for us was a major inspiration that created such a powerful preaching force. His Holiness Vidal Swami recalls, "One evening I came to Srila Prabhupada's room after a long day in Bombay. As usual, I had traveled to and from Bombay in crowded trains and to and from the train station in crowded bus. I had taken any prasadam from the morning until the time I returned. Srila Prabhupada looked at me and asked, 'How are you feeling?' I had noticed how weak and sick I was. Well, frankly speaking, Srila Prabhupada, I feel a little tired. Anyway, Srila Prabhupada are letting go. Immediately, Srila Prabhupada ordered grapes for me. He said that grapes were very good for strength and energy. Then he insisted that I eat the grapes in his presence, and soon he asked if I was feeling stronger, and yes, I was. Finally, he concluded to work hard for Krishna for 2 days and then to reciprocate for 3 days. That is not a very good proposal. From planting the seed, a beautiful book that has many exceptional stories. Please read it. So our community would like to be able to inspire all the devotees to have such loving concepts of others for others. When leaders exhibit the aspect of the self rewards management, our movement will be very strong and attract many to join.
So you see devotees, you are also some kind of leader in some sort of other, नहीं? मतलब you are representing धीरा in your college, है ना? So अगर आपका धीरा will be kind of a society where people feel loved and cared, then I think it will be very popular. It will be very very popular. Because this is something which karmis can't do. Because there is some selfishness in their motives. But devotees, why is Vanshidhari Prabhu sacrificing his sleep so many times and coming here and staying with you all? Why? That is selfishness. That is something you can't reciprocate with. And you should realize this value. No? मतलब अगर आप कहीं भी selfishness को selflessness को sorry अगर कहीं भी आप selflessness को experience करते अगर कहीं आप selflessness को experience करते हो then reciprocate with it, okay? Devotees they are so selfless actually. मतलब I see Vanshi Prabhu every day in CVSM. जब भी मुझे बोलते हैं मतलब ये सुबह मंगला आरती जाएंगे, रात को 2 बजे का ऑफिस ओवर हुआ है, सुबह 4 बजे उठ के नहाएंगे, फटाफट 4:30 मंगला आरती, then chanting and everything. I don't know how he does all these things, but the thing is he is doing all these things out of love for you all, out of his own love for you all. अभी कल मुझे बता रहे थे कल यहाँ पे फेयरवेल भी है ना? So why is doing all these things? That is selflessness. And as devotees, if we fail to reciprocate with selflessness, then we will become selfish. We will become self-centered. That's also kind of an offense if you fail to see the selflessness of other person. If you fail to see the contribution of other devotees in your life, then that's kind of an offense, and that will make your heart hard, very hard. You will be chanting, you will be doing services for so many years, but there will be no substance. Anyone else would like to read? पढ़ोगे? दिख रहा है आपको? Okay. इधर आके बैठ जाओ. उसको actually उसको दिखना important है वो. मतलब that is really nice. let me. We can read from here. We all want to spread Krishna consciousness.
We all want to spread Krishna consciousness, His holiness. Radhananda Swami spoke that the most powerful preaching is happy devotees. The Radha Gopinath temple in Mumbai surely proves that. I have found many statements from world leaders in various fields that confirm that need for caring.
Now you see, sometimes you will find that Srila Prabhupada or Srila Prabhupada disciples quoting mundane moralists, जिनको हम बोलते तो कर्मी है, mundane moralist है, but again, sadhu is like a person कि he is like a हंस swan नहीं, वो he knows what to take from everything, मतलब he knows कि कहाँ से क्या अच्छा उसको ले सकते हैं, उनको उससे कृष्ण का स्मरण होता है. So therefore Kavi Chandra Maharaj is taking all these quotes from all these people, है ना. मतलब this is also genuinity that हम हर चीज को हम just brush off नहीं कर सकते that this is my if we see as if we go to रामनाथ प्रभु जी को आप सब जानते हैं, आप रामनाथ प्रभु जी एक बार वॉक पे चले जाओ, यहाँ से क्या प्रेरणा मिल रही है, ये माता कूद रही है, यहाँ पे उससे क्या प्रेरणा मिल रही है, ये हरी से क्या प्रेरणा मिल रही है, मतलब I get bewildered, मैं चुप रहता हूँ, प्रभु जी नहीं पता, प्रभु जी मैं सोचा ही नहीं मैंने. तो a devotee is like that. पढ़े.
Mother Teresa, the biggest disease today is not leprosy or tuberculosis, but rather the feeling of being unwanted.
आप में से किसी ने कभी फील किया है अपनी लाइफ में, आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट हियर बट इन योर जनरल लाइफ कि देयर इज सम प्लेस यू आर इन सम सर्कल वेयर यू आर फीलिंग लाइक आई एम अनवांटेड हियर, मतलब यहाँ पे मैं यहाँ पे कंफर्टेबल भी नहीं हूँ, बट ये लोग मुझे चाहते भी नहीं यहाँ पे, बट ये बोल नहीं पा रहे. किसी ने ऐसा फील किया? ऑलमोस्ट ऑल ऑफ अस हैव फेल्ट.
Loneliness and the feeling of being unwanted is the most terrible poverty.
You see, मतलब बच्चे although preaching मैंने देखा है कॉलेज में, अपने भी मैंने ऑब्जर्व किया था, although I never preached in my college because I was not very good at studies, so but I observed these things कि I used to see कि जो लोग आ रहे हैं खोखले हैं काफ़ी अंदर से, जो नए नए लोग आए जा रहे हैं, कि नया इन्वायरमेंट है, सब कुछ नया है, तो चाहते हैं कि फटाफट उनको कोई सर्कल बन जाए, फटाफट एक ऐसे सर्कल में आ जाए जहाँ पे उनको लव केयर एंड अफेक्शन मिले. स्टार्टिंग में चल रहा होता है, बहुत से लोगों के साथ बात होती है, बट एक टाइम तक अंत तक आते आते कुछ ही लोग होते हैं जिनके साथ आप स्टक रहते हो कॉलेज में भी इवन, है ना, बिकॉज वहाँ सब कोई चीज़ रिसीव हो रही होती है, नहीं हो रही होती है, ये कम मात्रा में हो रही होती है. सो अगर आप स्टार्टिंग में डिवोट इसके प्रायर डेज पे उनको सेम चीज़ दे पाओ, देन बेसिकली यू कैन सेव देम फ्रॉम सो मैनी थिंग्स. सो इसलिए फर्स्ट ईयर्स को टीचिंग करना काफ़ी इंपॉर्टेंट है, काफ़ी इंपॉर्टेंट है. पढ़िए.
Love begins at home, and it is not how much we do, but how much we put in that action.
It is not about how much we do, but how much love we put in that action. आप किसी के लिए ज़्यादा कुछ नहीं कर पा रहे, बट आपके एक छोटे से एक्शन में भी आप पानी लेके आ रहे हो, उसमें प्यार भरा हुआ है. That is required. Your smallest of the actions, they should have love. Like you should see Vanshi Prabhu sometimes when Amogla Prabhuji comes. एक पानी ग्लास भी आपको इतना प्यार से लेके आएंगे, इतना वो करेंगे, वो मतलब ज्यादा कुछ भी नहीं करेंगे, तो छोटा से भी करेंगे. His every action will be filled with love. So that's how we are supposed to become.
Love begins by taking care of the closest ones, the ones at home.
Here at people. मतलब I don't know if I should quote this thing, but because it can be very easily misused, but still I will say. You see, my seniors have told me कि अगर आपके पास पूरा एक नया preaching का zone है और एक पुराना भक्त है, sacrifice that new preaching for that older devotee. इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि हम फिर college preaching बंद कर देंगे, इसलिए don't misuse that, but try to understand the intentions, okay? So retaining someone is very very important. It's very important कि हम बाकी souls को भी reclaim करें, because ultimately they are also Krishna's part and parcel. So next, कौन कोई और पढ़ना चाहेंगे रोटेशन में? Anyone else? जिन्हें नहीं पढ़ा होगा तो कोई.
In everyone's life at some time, our inner fire goes out. It is the burst into flame by an encounter with another human being. We should all be thankful for those people who rekindle the inner spirit.
Have you experienced this thing? मतलब being in someone's, मतलब आपके लाइफ में एकदम निराश हो चुके हो कि अब मतलब काफी डिप्रेस्ड हो, काफी आप लो फील कर रहे हो, एंड देन यू मीट समवन who just makes you so jolly, so happy. Have you ever experienced this thing? Second question, is that person a devotee? And you are still in good relationship with him? Okay. पढ़िए.
We have seen many devotees leave our society saying that they were not loved. Some effort must be made to let devotees know they are loved. Every culture has the golden rule. Do to others what you would leave like them to do for you.
ये कहीं और भी आता है, स्क्रिप्चरली भी कहीं आता है ये. चाणक्य पंडित also says this, है ना, आत्मवत् सर्वभूतेषु. पढ़िए.
Or do not do to others what you do not want them to do to you. That can be considered the essence of the mood of the devotee care community.
So basically you have to behave in such a way कि जैसा behavior आप expect करोगे, जैसा love care आप expect करते हो कि मुझे मिले, सेम उस लेवल पे दो. तो आप कितना दोगे किसी को प्रेम? नहीं, because we need abundant love, है ना. We are in so much deeply engrossed in Maya, our hearts are so polluted, contaminated. It's only the love by other devotees, you know, that keeps us away from our sinful habits, from all these things. और chanting वगैरह ठीक है, but again they are there, but again these things they also they work if you receive the love of some devotee. So इसलिए if you will love devotees selflessly to the highest extent, to the most possible extent, then Krishna will also reciprocate. You will also receive a lot of love. So you don't have to wait कि मुझे जब प्रेम मिलेगा तब मैं कर पाऊंगा. नहीं, don't wait for that thing to happen. You just start loving devotees causelessly, selflessly.
I don't want to go on for a long discussion. Anyone who is interested can look on our website www.devotee.com. We
Okay.
have seen the whatever we present.
अब एक बार थोड़ा यहाँ से एक सेकंड. हाँ, पढ़िए.
Seminars on devotee care. The response is very enthusiastic. Devotees naturally want to care for others. It needs to not to be big thing. When the mood is there amongst the devotees, they create many facilities. We hope to have society that truly protects the needing it. Brahman, women, children, old people count. Vaishnavas are the best of the Brahmanas. When they are cared for, they will care for all.
Yeah, exactly. So if you could just give some love and care to one single devotee to act like in fire, then he can care of so many thousands of devotees.
We are often asked.
It's again because we have less time. This is for old devotees. How will you take care of them? ये कोई पढ़ेगा? Once upon a time, I was lamenting to. Okay. Once upon a time, I was lamenting to my god brother, His Holiness Bhakti Tirtha Swami, that I really had no skills. At the time, he was expecting to leave his body in 2 or 3 weeks. Even in that condition, he was only concerned about others, and he tried to cheer me. He said, "You are such a caring person. That is what is needed." Since then, I have tried to be caring. So this is Maharaj's email ID. So I will not go into this because it will go. So, but I will go. I will read something by Srila Jayapataka Maharaj, and then we will wind up. Okay. This is the last thing. Why devotee care is important in our society? We have the most. This was an interview of with Srila Jayapataka Maharaj. Maharaj is here at Isra Kalashna. In temple only, he is staying. Why is devotee care important in our society? We have the most complete philosophy, and Srila Prabhupada has given us the wonderful process of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Part of that process is taking care of the devotees. Actually, Krishna says that he has nothing else to do but to take care of his devotees. So Krishna is the foremost pioneer of this devotee care project. And since his devotees are always thinking about him, he is always also always thinking about his devotees. So actually, devotee care is one of the primary angas or aspects of Krishna consciousness. However, I heard that there was a study by some outsider where they said that of all the schools, ISKCON has the best philosophy. But when they talk about taking care of devotees, then ISKCON is way down the list. So serving the devotees and taking care of the devotees should be a part of our religion. It should be part of our religion, like our chanting, like our reading, hearing, a compulsion, and devotee care is also compulsion. So serving the devotees, and we should be doing this as daily work instead of feeling it is something that we should be forced. It is not something forced कि प्रभु जी भक्त बीमारा टेक केयर कर देंगे प्रभु जी मुझे माला कर देंगे प्रभु जी किसी और को बोल दो ना. No, this is really horrible, very insensitive. Don't do like that. What areas need care? Of course, we should take care of devotees in all aspects, but there are some areas that deserve extra attention, like the children, elderly, ladies, and the sick, and those who are entering into a new ashram. Some devotees joining brahmachari ashram, some devotees joining grahastha ashram, even some devotees joining sannyas ashram. I remember I was with Vanshi Prabhu. You also आप सभी होंगे वहाँ पे. I was saying how Bhaktivedanta Bhagavad Maharaj was taking care of Rukmani Krishna Prabhuji, है ना, उनका हाथ पकड़ के लेके जाना, हाथ पकड़ के लेके आना, संन्यास ड्रेस पहनवाना, साथ में उनके साथ ऋषिमान Prabhuji भी, he was taking care of Rukmani Krishna Prabhuji at that time. So yeah, changing a new ashram, some devotees getting married, some devotees planning to join full time. You need to take care of that devotee because it's a huge change in his life. काफी लाइफ उसकी हिलेगी उस चीजों में, क्योंकि शादी करने पे लाइफ हिलेगी, वैसे नहीं कि बस वो बैंड बाजा चल रहा है. So you need to give support to devotees. Of course, not everything is to be done by the devotee care ministry. ठीक है, हर चीज मिनिस्ट्री आके नहीं करेगी. इस वक्त की शादी हो रही कम्युनिटी पे, चलो devotee care ministry की जीवीसी आती है वहाँ पे, ऐसा नहीं होने वाला, है ना? Some services can be taken up by congregational devotees or at least by temple, but at least some areas that are not dealt by others can be picked up by the devotee care community. How can leaders show their care? Sometimes it is the small things that count. In the year 2000, I did some brainstorming to find out how the GBC could consider this idea in its all aspects and what they were willing to do. I was surprised to note that about 75% of the things was needed was local. The rest was divided between 15% national and 10% international. So 75% of जब तक हमारे से 75% of devotee care it's something local. अब leaders भी चाहे कुछ नहीं कर सकते हैं. It's something एक community में जैसा develop होगा, जैसे devotees के बीच में relationship होगा, मतलब leaders can't do anything in it, है ना? वो यहाँ से ministry से ordinance pass नहीं कर सकते. आप सब एक दूसरे को प्यार करो. Love is not to be forced, है ना? It should be natural. So most of the dealings are at local level. If our leaders understand this and take interest in devotee care, they can make a big difference. Devotees believe that leaders should care. For instance, someone said that when an ISKCON leader arrives and devotees offer obeisances, he might stop only to acknowledge them. Whereas if the leader of a Christian or other religious group sees someone offering obeisances, they often stop and inquire, "How are you?" So, how will this have our movement? Kitna bada? Oh, okay, so we will.
Maybe we can continue and send it. Or next time. And if somebody wants to leave and somebody has to come and leave.
हाँ प्लीज, जिनको पढ़ाई करनी प्लीज जल्दी फटाफट चले जाओ. यू वांट टू लीव अदर टू? आप वैसे कॉलेज किस किस का है आज पहले ही बताओ. अच्छा कॉलेज एग्जाम किस किस का है आज? Okay. How will this help our movement? So if devotees they see that this movement actually cares, they will be more confident to give their lives to Krishna, to give their lives to devotional service. That's how you make someone surrender. प्रभु जी आप भगवान का शरणागत होना चाहिए, शरणागत होने चाहिए, बोल बोल के शरणागत नहीं होने वाला है. You have to make them feel that I care for you, that you are cared, we love you. Then that person will surrender. You just hear any Srila Prabhupada disciple, सारा घूम के आएगा that Srila Prabhupada, how Srila Prabhupada loved, how Srila Prabhupada cared. मतलब literally सबकी memories में ये आएगा. Those who left ISKCON even, उनकी memories में ये आता that how Srila Prabhupada cared for them. Bhakti Vikas Maharaj once said that in one sense nobody left ISKCON. उस टाइम पे लोग बोलते कि इसने ISKCON छोड़ा वो छोड़ा, but in one sense nobody left ISKCON because everybody was attached to Srila Prabhupada. So those who externally left ISKCON, even they were still bound up by Srila Prabhupada very very closely. मतलब you can just go to Prabhupada memories ना. There are so many devotees. who left Krishna consciousness, but still the love they hold for Srila Prabhupada. So, I will not name the devotee. So there was this one sannyasi who later on entered Grihastha ashrama, and then he did a lot of things, and somehow, matlab, as soon as Srila Prabhupada left, he just left ISKCON, okay? And he was in Japan, and you know, during his final time, it came a little bit early because he was suffering from AIDS. So he was suffering from AIDS. So some devotee, he was just randomly lying on the street. जैसे लोग पड़े रहते हैं रोड पे ना, वैसे उनकी हालत थी भिखारी की तरह. So some devotee identified him. अरे you are that Swami ना? आप तो वही ना जिन्हें श्रील की सेवा करी थी. So although he was suffering from AIDS, they brought him back to the temple. I don't know if it was AIDS or it was cancer, but it was something. Well, it was something terminal, and he was in a lot of pain, and he was supposed to leave his body. So उनको टेम्पल में लेके आए और पूरी डिवोटी कम्युनिटी उनकी टेक केयर कर रही है. ये नहीं सोचा कि इन्होंने पहले ये किया ये किया. Their only ground was कि that how this person has served Srila Prabhupada. कितना एक्स्ट्रा कितना इन्होंने मतलब gigantic amount उन्होंने सेवा की Srila Prabhupada की, कितना उन्होंने श्रील को प्रेम किया. And because of they did not see his bad parts, ये भी किया नहीं. Because of this thing they kept him, they were loving him. In his final days, he again accepted sannyas before leaving his body. He was literally again given sannyas. That Swami, you are again the Swami. है ना, उनको दंडा दिया गया, उनको त्रिदंड पहनाया गया, उनको सब कुछ किया गया. And then he left his body in the association of devotees. That's how he left his body. And he used to cry, but he used to be happy that at least my suffering, because of my heinous acts, I am suffering, and these sufferings are purifying me. So these are sufferings are blessings of Krishna. But ऐसा क्यों फील हो पाया? Because there was a community. So community plays a very important role. Your relationship with devotees, it really plays a very, very, very much important role. So sometimes this may happen that कोई devotee base में था, we had to let them go. या कोई धीरा में था, but don't always close your doors, है ना? Always keep things open. कि अगर सुधर गया तो वापस आ गया तो then we should not see कि उसने पहले क्या किया पहले क्या नहीं किया. Because Srila Prabhupada never saw it. There were devotees who took sannyas, then again entered Grihastha, and then again took sannyas, but Srila Prabhupada never saw it. Srila Prabhupada कोई जीबीसी है, उसने ISKCON छोड़ दिया, दोबारा प्रभुपाद ने जीबीसी बना दिया. अगर फॉर एग्जांपल कोई कॉलेज टीचिंग में है, कोई इंपॉर्टेंट पोजीशन पे है, वो छोड़ दे, वो दोबारा आएगा, मुझसे सेम पोजीशन में डाल देंगे. किसी ने अकाउंट से घपला करके चला के मुझसे दोबारा अकाउंट्स में डाल देंगे. We will not do. But Srila Prabhupada did that. He used to do like that. And that is the why devotees, they were completely sold out to Srila Prabhupada. You know, कुछ हो सकता है, कुछ हल्का फुल्का ये नुकसान हुआ वो नुकसान हुआ, we have to be practical also, but again Srila Prabhupada was very much practical and very much loving at the same time. So that's what we are supposed to do. So it's 1935 and we will stop here. Hare Krishna. Devotees, they should leave. Okay. Anybody wants to say anything, share anything, has any questions, comments, realizations, reflections, anything? Okay, so let me do an exercise there. अभी तो ये बेस में तो यूजुअली इसका रिस्पांस अच्छा आ जाता है. आप में से कौन है बेस में जिन्होंने कभी आज तक एक दूसरे से बात नहीं करी? मतलब just raise your hands if there is any devotee in your base whom are you seeing for so long but you never talk with him very much. Is there anyone? आपने बेस में देखा है, उनको अपने साथ देख रहे हो बट कभी उनसे ज्यादा बात नहीं कर पाए. कोई है ऐसा? ओके, ये यूजुअली आईएफ में होता है, बहुत सारे हाथ खड़े होते हैं जब हम बोलते हैं कम्युनिटी में. इट मींस थिंग्स आर गुड हियर अंडर द लीडरशिप ऑफ वंशीधारी प्रभुजी. Sometimes, मैं साइड वाला पढ़ रहा हूँ. Sometimes when Srila Prabhupada saw that people were struggling to control their senses, struggling to become Krishna conscious, he actually was seen crying. He really cared about the devotees.